Welcome to day 8 Strings in Python. Strings, as I mentioned in the last video, are very critical component of data engineering. Because in data engineering, you are always getting the data from some place or the other. You are getting the data from sensors, you are getting the data from input systems, and as I mentioned, the data is transferred over the wire where data type is cared less, and therefore the data is transferred as a string. So the thumb rule is the input data you are going to receive as a string only. 99.9% of the time you will receive the data as string where type is not being given, and therefore you must understand how to process the data in the next layers. When you load the data from APIs, almost everything arrives as a string. APIs, files, everything arrives as a string, even number, timestamp, identifier. Before you can join, aggregate, transform, you must clean and standardize the text data. For example, you might receive an trailing a leading space. You might receive a comma in between. You might receive the date in a different format, but your processing data pipeline might need the data in a different format. So therefore you must learn the string operations. Let's start with what is string. String is a sequence of characters enclosed in quotes. Let's define the string. As in Python, you can say you can define any variable with string and giving a right set of data. Anything that you put in double quote is treated as string. Similarly, anything you put in a single quote is also treated as a string. For a multi-line, you need triple quotes. If you put three quotes, and then you can go for multi-line until you close that with the three quotes. Let's execute this, and you can see that result is then printed. Let me just change the name so that you can see the difference in the result being printed. Okay. Accessing and slicing the string. Strings behave like a list of characters. You can access or slice part of the string. Let's say the word, we have a string called word with the data with the content in it as data breaks. You can reference that with an index. So let's say print word 0, word minus 1, word 0 to 4, and word 4. So print 0 would index it to a starting point of the string, which is D. Word of minus 1 will take you back to the last letter. From 0 to 4 will start from 0 and take the 4 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will print the data. And then 4, since there is nothing given, it will go up to last. So it will start from 4th, but it will go to an end of the string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is how you can manipulate, you can reference and take the data out from the string. This is one of the most important characteristic of a string we must learn, that is string immutability. Strings are immutable. Immutable as in you cannot edit the string. String cannot be changed once created, but they can be reassigned. Let's take an example. Let's say you have a string called data, and you wanted to replace the word from small d to a capital D. Can you do that? Let's see. No, you will get an error that string object does not support item assignment. That is, strings are immutable. But reassignment is possible. So, for example, if you have if you have a variable whose value assigned is data, small data, data with a d as small, you can simply reassign the next. You can simply reassign the complete word. So you can replace it with word with the with the capital D. So reassignment is possible, and changing the data is not possible. This is extremely critical when you are building out the logic for your systems or writing an ETL pipeline. You get to manipulate the string. At that time, you must know and understand this property. Of course, Python will stop you, but you must have the right set of thinking that strings are immutable, but a reassignment is possible. Moving to next set of concept, which is common string method for data cleaning. Strip, lower, upper, replace, split, and join. These are some of the operations which are possible on the string. Let's start with some example. Strip is being used to remove the leading and trailing spaces. So strip removes the spaces and capitalize. So if we pass this if we pass this array if we pass this array of strings to or if we make it go through something called strip, what it will do is it will remove all the spaces and also capitalize in a right way. So this is how the string will be changed. Let's add a keyword here called john as well and see how it is changed. John. Okay, even if you put like some spaces, they will be stripped. So we have put a for loop, and inside that we are iterating through each element, and strip is being applied. Strip removes the spaces, and we have used another function called title function simply converts it into a proper camel cascaded name, where it is the first letter is capitalized, giving it a form of a title. So both the functions are applied. Since strings are immutable, we are not changing what is present in n, but we are reassigning it. So we are just simply use assignment operator so that the value is reassigned, changed, and then go and print that value. This is how string operations are performed. Checking and validating the string. Let's say you have a variable called email and an email ID is stored. You have another email number, you have another variable with a phone number present. What you can simply do is you just want to print you just wanted to check whether uh, you wanted to validate check and validate whether the right format is present or not. So let's say you want to check whether that word ends with .com or not. You can simply do that by checking ends with .com. Similarly, for phone number you can check is digit is used. You can also check is alpha as in is there any is it only like alpha, yes. So like this you can apply different functions. Your alphabet means only alphabets are present, right? So you have some you have like at the rate dot, and therefore answer of is alpha will be false. So these are the things which are possible with string and functions like ends with is digit and alpha. These can be put under certain conditions to help you define the flow of the application as well, like this. For example, let me write down a code. If phone dot is digit, else print the phone number is invalid. So let's try to run this. What we get when we run this, that it's a valid phone number because the phone number is a digit, it is containing only digits, and length of the phone number is also 10. Removing special characters. There is a lot of times when the data has arrived, it has a number of special characters creating the noise, and we may want to remove them before being processed. We can use some data we can use some functions called regex function to remove them. And regex, we have another complete set of video on regex, but this is in a simple way I can tell that regex are the way to tell python that okay, allow or not allow a specific type of characters in a string. And what you can simply do is you can define it like this, like a to z is allowed, small a to z is allowed, and 0 to 9 is allowed. Apart from that, everything else needs to be replaced or needs to be removed completely from the text. So whatever text is there, anything outside or not satisfying this condition will be completely removed. So at the rate hash will be removed. At the same time, exclamatory mark will also be removed. So this is how it works for the special characters. You can clean the special characters using something called regex. Format strings. You can format strings the way you want, because uh, there are a lot of times when you wanted to display the data in particular way or want to store the data in a particular way. So therefore f strings then are used to embed variables inside your text for logs and etl messages. See, you wanted to like give a message that you have loaded n number of records. So therefore what you can use is a f string where you are just passing the variable values, and those variables values will be replaced before printing, and actual values will be printed. So loaded 2500 records into sales table, this will be printed. Let's try it out and you'll be able to see the answer. So f strings, very important thing, because we have to do manipulation and give a right set of messages as a combination of text and variables. So there these f string functions can be useful. Combining string operations into like for loop or condition, you can do like that. So we have seen this example earlier, that you have received these different files. You wanted to iterate through each and every file with loop, and then use the condition. If the f- if the f- um, so you iterate over it, and you also check, like you strip leading and trailing zeros, lower the values, and replace .csv with empty, correct? And then if the sales keyword is present, if the sales is present in the cleaned keyword, then you say that it's a valid file. But if it's a temp, then you say that it's an invalid file, and you can say that you can skip it. So like this. So you can see string operations are combined with looping and conditions to create certain to control or create certain etl pipeline functions, etl pipeline functionality. Multi-line string cleaning also possible. As I said, regex is something which is used to clean up the data sets. You can, because here it is not possible to like simply say that okay, remove all the spaces from the start or end like that, right? We simply want uh, only one space in between, like that, right? So and therefore, and even you can see some of the strings are not clean at all, like s is caps in between and all. So that all those things can be done with the help of a regex expression. I frankly speaking, regex is a very difficult operation for me. I simply don't sometimes understand all these things. So nowadays, so earlier we used to have a regex tool which we could use to define a certain set of regex, but nowadays with AI tools like ChatGPT and others, it is much easier to define regex. Just give them the condition that okay, I wanted the strings to remove to be stripped of all the leading and trailing spaces. At the same time, title it properly and remove the special characters. It will automatically do that for you. So like this, these things are possible. You can simply print this out and see that everything is straightened out in the output. Strings are the first layer of cleaning before converting into struct types. They play a very important role. As I already mentioned, they are the first set of data you will receive before you pass this data to the transformation and then sync layer. Mastering the string operations prepares you for any kind of data engineering, machine learning, or AI operation. Therefore, you must give us very special attention to learning the string operations. Learn the string operations and you will master data engineering like anything. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening to this. In the next video, we'll learn how to use the regex. Thanks.